want to give it that street look.
We got a bag. We gotta have air suspension. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Run ho! The customer wanted show and tow for this 52 record.
We got a full chassis bumper to bumper now, so be able to handle anything they throw at it.
Supercharged LT4, 12 inches of lift. As fabricators, this is what you live for.
That's awesome, bro.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
It's pretty cool to get to do what you love. When Extensive started customizing vehicles, the basis of everything we did was mainly suspension. Since then, business has progressed many times over to building some iconic vehicles, from a bagged motorcycle trailer to a crazy truck we transformed into a barbecue pit, to a barbecue pit itself on a trailer, to huge builds like taking an old rusty milk truck and turning it into a fully painted diesel power showstopper, to building full tube custom buggy out of absolutely nothing, just an idea, and turning it into something to have a lot of fun with. It doesn't get cooler than that. The diversity of the builds are just gotten crazy. Even today, we're going to have electric truck dropped off, which is, the latest and greatest of the car world and what everything's really evolving to. So it doesn't matter if it's a combustion engine, electric, raised or lowered, whatever combination of that it is, we're going to find a way to take it apart, cut it up, put it back together, create something cool, no matter what type of vehicle it is. Everybody at the shop is very talented and they love what they do, and whatever comes to the door, we're going to make it cool. What's happening, man? Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Bill?
Man, I'm doing real well, man. What you got here, man? A new Lightning, huh?
2022 Ford Lightning, all electricity, no gasoline.
It's a cool truck, man. How long you had it?
About a month.
That's cool, man. You don't see too many of these on the road.
No, you don't, but you will be.
I'm sure, man. That's the way the world's going, right?
That's where the future's pointing.
So does it run pretty good?
Oh, it runs good. No shift points, instant torque.
Yeah, just fun to drive.
Oh, it's a blast.
They got some power, right?
They do. They do.
I had a Tesla for a while, man. It's pretty cool to not have to stop every couple days.
It is nice. I bought this truck because it's the way of the future. It's something I figure I could use for work, and I figured this is the best truck to do that with. I'd like to be able to do something a little cooler than what it is right now. I know these electric vehicles, they have a certain look, but I kind of want to give it that street look, so I'm curious what you would do to it.
So you want to wake it up a little bit?
Most definitely. We use it for the company, and I want it to grab attention.
Getting the stance right and getting the right wheel and tire combo with that right profile tire that goes along with that stance, that'll make all the difference in the world.
I'm all for that.
One of the things we can really do to really wake it up is we got to lower it.
I agree, 100%.
Get rid of that wheel gap. Figure out how to make it ride comfortable too, because I know you spend a lot of time in it, going from job to job to job.
I'm all about that. So I heard the rear end's totally different platform. So what can we do? How can we do it?
I don't have firsthand knowledge of that, but whatever it is, we're going to make it happen. Now, what we have to do to make that happen, I'm not real sure, but we're going to figure that out. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this F-150. This being the first that I know of being lowered and actually functioning, a lot of people are going to be asking questions. How'd you do this? What do I need to do? We're going to have to make sure this thing is perfect. Hey, another thing we could do too, you got that little, hide the batteries?
We were trying to make it look better. It came with a running board. We put a step there. Step retracts too low. I know you can probably make it look a lot nicer than what we did.
Man, I think making a custom little rocker piece that fills in that gap, it tucks a little closer to the body, that'll make it look even lower to the ground too, man. And you definitely won't need a step.
No, we won't.
But do me a favor, man. Show me underneath the hood.
Let's take a look.
Oh, man. Wow. Man, that takes some getting used to.
I know, where's the motor at? The radiator.
Right? I mean, the whole grill and everything comes up with it. That's just like that should be like a hot tub in there. Maybe we need to do that too. No, that's real cool, man. That's wild. Getting an electric truck, the inner workings of it, how it works, learning from it. That's part of the fun of doing what we do. You know, I'm anxious to get it on the lift and to see what we got to do to make this happen.
Well, I'm excited to see what you can do to it.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. If you're ready,
let's make it happen.
It's definitely uncharted territory when you're looking underneath the vehicle and you don't know what all those components are. You're like, man, what is that? I've never seen that before. There's a lot of that going on up underneath the new electric Ford truck. I'm excited about getting underneath it, tearing it apart, integrating our suspension into the inner workings of this electric truck. There's no manual how to do what we're about to do to this. There's no call someone who's done this before. That's going to be us. You know, this is a first of a first once again, so we're going to figure it out. We're going to get up underneath of it. We're going to tear it apart. We're going to see how it works. I'm sure it's going to have its challenges, but I'm ready to get going on it. I'm ready to make a cool truck. There's going to be a lot of firsts on this pan art. Let's see what he's got on this.
It's going to be a first for me. Definitely more wiring than what I'm used to seeing back here.
Right? Normally, all this is open. There's no drive shaft, a belly pan. I don't even know where the batteries are on this thing. I'm assuming up there.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't all this.
What do you got in store for us on this one?
Customer's driving around town, goes from job to job, and he wants something really just people look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower it, but so we got to make it adjustable. We got to bag. We got to have air suspension.
Has anybody done air suspension on one of these trucks yet?
None that I know of. So this will be a first for sure.
Nice.
We're going to pull out these coilovers, put an air strut in place of it.
Sounds easy enough.
Let's just hope it is. Don't say that. I'll never say that here.
The shocks and springs were shocks and springs.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that down, but where to hook up all the components, the most efficient way to run the lines, there's a lot to figure out. You know, once we get all the suspension done, we're going to take off the steps that are there because you definitely don't need it once it's lowered. So we need to replace it with a nice filler in between the two wheels.
Okay.
Something that flows from the cab all the way down about 4 inches.
We got to give this thing a little attitude because it looks like a stock truck.
It's going to be real cool. Last thing, of course, wheels and tires.
Man, I'm excited.
It's going to be cool, man. This ain't the first time taking your wheels off, is it?
No, sir.
All right, let's get to it.
Time to get after it. Definitely seeing a little bit more light under here than what I'm used to.
Yeah, we're missing a motor. You can see daylight all the way across here. All the suspension, the components, the spindle, the control arm, the spring. I mean, this is what I'm used to right here. But that daylight, man, I just can't stop looking through there. We'll go ahead and get this strut out. Go ahead and remove that, both sides, then we'll go ahead and move on to the rear. We'll do everything same, 18 mil on the top.
All right.
3 nuts off. I mean, the suspension, I'm not intimidated at all. I mean, we've done suspension on everything here. The electrical and the routing has me a little nervous because this is all foreign to me, the way the belly fans are, this electric batteries, this thing. So I'm definitely going to be cautious when I'm going to hook everything up and my routing. Somebody tell Mayor's breakfast. Woo! Cleve, you hungry? Give her a live bite, buddy. Watch your brake lines.
Everything on here is totally different. Even finding a spot for the jack stands is a little tricky. All these plates, covers, I can see why they need it though, especially with the electric motor right above here. It's interesting to see the CV joints coming out of the motors rather than having a drive shaft or an axle that you usually see in the rear of a truck. Now we have an electric motor.
We got all the suspension out now. Now we gotta go ahead and get these amp steps out and this I don't know what you want to call this, but this ugly piece of metal they just cake decorated on the side of this truck.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do it, man. Gotta hold your tongue right sometimes, you know? How you looking over there, Art?
Just working on this one bolt. Then I'm gonna disconnect the motors.
Alright, everything at once. Man, what do you think? How's your first tear down, huh?
Not bad for the first one. A little tight, but got it done.
Ready to put everything back on?
Get to see how this thing's gonna look.
Alright, man, let's get started.
Oh yeah.
Change is inevitable for every business. You know, the 2022 Ford Lightning is one of our first electric, but definitely isn't going to be our last. It's going to create some challenges for sure, but that's just part of what makes this business so exciting.
Man, look what we got here. We got nice air struts right here. These things are beautiful.
That's pretty cool. The airbag that already has a strut connected to it.
Yeah, man, it's got a nice pivot on top, the airbag and the strut, everything. You know, this is really replacing the spring right here, so we'll be able to adjust this with air pressure. Also, it's got an adjustment right here so we can actually bring it closer together to get that lower stance, you know, get that right look for the truck. They even got us the misalignment space for the bottom. I can't wait to put it on the truck and see how it performs. You know, first thing I'm looking at is the position of our airline. Since we're doing our air management in the front of the truck, front, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to go ahead and turn our leer hose so we'll have a factory. Then I can go ahead and put my spindle back on my control arm and tighten everything down. Everything looks good, so we'll go ahead and start moving on the back. You know, I just noticed this truck has independent rear suspension. You know, it's got its own lower control arm on the rear. That's pretty cool, especially for adjustability on the air management. Going to be able to, you know, tweak this thing however way you want it to. I can't tell you how many times I thought about, like, if I lose a nut and bolt in here, it might short something out.
I've worked on a lot of trucks. This is the first one that had two electric engines. One mounted in the front, one mounted in the rear. Used to seeing a familiar suspension system, but not today. Today it's a little different. We have two CV joints coming out of each side of the electric motor and some pretty beefy control arms as well.
So once we're done through bolting it, that's it. The air struts are mounted.
Yeah, so those wheels and tires for that 64 here, and I think we also be getting that bedwood kit pretty soon too.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah,
so you need something to do.
I always have something to do. But what I was going to ask you about that tow truck out there.
Man, we're in a real good spot. You know, we built the whole frame on the table. Rear suspension is all done. We just slid the frame up underneath the cab, man. That's always a nice little milestone, and you can really start seeing it come together. The frame's built super, super strong.
Yeah, I seen it. It's almost like a show truck demolition derby at the same time.
Oh, somebody would lose.
So what's next? What do you need me to get for you?
The next thing on the record is we're going to build the front of the frame all out of 2x4. We're going to be rebuilding all the suspension, so we need Heims, bushings, spindles, you know, all that. You know, one of the major things I need your help with is engine and trans, something with a lot of power. So LT4 supercharged would be real cool in that truck. He wanted something quick.
Got the frame for it. Well, we shouldn't have any issues getting one of them engines in quick.
Don't jinx it.
We'll see what we can do.
You ready?
I've been ready.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
A little too long. Here, give it done with the cab, mounting it to the chassis. Everything's square and straight. So now it's onto the front cross member and building the whole front section of this truck. The best way to do it is how we've been doing it for years. Build the whole cross member out, make sure all that is true. Get it up in here and pull 1,000 measurements. 3 3/16. This is right where it needs to be. It's on the money. So I'll grab some chipboard, make some templates, and make some rails from here to here, and then from here to the front bumper, connect all of it. And that way it's one full complete chassis.
That should fit.
Now that it's already lined out, all we do is just cut on the line. Make sure it fits first. Let's go try it. Oh yeah. And then take one piece of flat bar. Get a little closer to that corner. Tag it there, and we only got one side to weld and grind. Instead of creating it all 4 pieces and then welding it all 4 sides. You know, little tricks of the trade. I feel like if Wayne Gretzky was a welder, he would be as good as me. I'm like Wayne Gretzky good. They're tacked in. Looks really good. Way cleaner and way faster than piecing it all together. Now we're going to continue the puzzle, finish the front end, and get some weld on us. So in order to do that, we made a little chipboard template. We're going to get up underneath this fender here. We're going to make a few cuts so we can connect the 2x3 down into the front cross member. Transfer our chipboard line, and we'll get into some suspension. Land ho! What I just did is called a bevel. So the reason that we put this little bevel on it is so you can get a little bit more penetration in your weld. You see, if you just put 2 pieces of metal together and you weld on top of it, you're not really, unless you're burning real hot, you're not really going to get much penetration inside that metal. Any stress or any force or anything, man, it'll just crack and break. They put a little bevel in there, get a little bit more strength.
Oh, brother. Where art thou?
Ooh, we're good there. Good there, bud. See what happens when you measure 1,400 times?
We got the parallel 4-link bars in place on the 52 tow truck frame. So Ryan's adding tube work underneath the frame just to make it like a truss and super strong.
Boom. Shakalaka. So now I'm gonna go over there and clean those pipes. And then bring them back.
It's hot. It's hot.
So I can mark this. Yeah, like it. I think that's gonna work, man. Just need some weld and a few tabs here and there, but for the most part, we got a full chassis bumper to bumper now. This will be able to handle anything they throw at it. Tow anything, drive anywhere, haul anything, whatever they want. It's gonna be a good truck. Alright, you got it right there.
The customer wanted Show A4 6.2. It's definitely going to be the right mix of power and reliability. Man, this truck is going to be fun to drive.
Alright, down. Hold up. Hold what you got. It's hitting the back there. Alright, I gotta do a little bit more trimming. It's going this time. Show. Alright, down. There you go.
Voila.
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you don't ever get to say that, right?
I know, right?
Man, supercharged LT4. This is exactly what this old truck needed. 640 horsepower, 4 black marks.
Yeah, dude.
It's nice and compact, too. That's what this run-in needed, right?
Yeah, buddy. That's clean. All right, I'll do some motor mounts and transmission mount.
Yeah, man.
Keep it rolling.
Do it to it.
Cool.
We set on many other vehicles. But this whole setup on this new lighting is unlike anything we worked with.
Wow, you know, I'm totally used to a motor being here, but since there's not, we're gonna go ahead and put our air management up here. New tank, get my compressors on, get my 3P on, then we're set. This is definitely different. It's gonna be cool. Get some Teflon real quick and go ahead and start wrapping these. You know, it doesn't change our air management. It's still point A to point B. You have your compressors, your manifold. Even though there's no motor right there, everything's actually all still the same. Okay, everything looks good. 3P mounted, compressors. Now let's go ahead and mount this inside the trunk. Pilot hole, 7/16.
Those are for the tank.
So this is what's going to secure our air management. We get one nut on it, and we'll get started on the other side, and we'll start tightening these boogers down. Hopefully it's sticking this crosshair. I'm not going to get electrocuted. I know there's a battery right here. Wow, this is going to be so much fun. We can't really put a ratchet in there and tighten it up. If it was easy, everybody would do it. There's always answers.
You know, doing something you haven't done before is never easy. And sure, I've definitely been frustrated myself a few times. And in this case, we need to tie that tank in so it definitely won't move around. And because there's a ton of electronics in the way, we can't reach the nut. So we're going to improvise and weld a nut on the end of a piece of flat bar so we can reach on in there.
Now we'll be able to stick this in the fender well, thread down our bolt. That's going to hold and secure our air management. All right, you ready? All right. Bump it. Full speed. All right. Good deal. Okay, so here's our mounting brackets. We got everything fastened from underneath. Nice and solid, so we'll go ahead and put our air management on it now. The next thing is go ahead and start getting to where we can put our air lines that come out of the back of this manifold through the truck, make our runs to each one of our air struts. But in order to do that, I need to put bulkheads in these corners. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill for the bulkheads. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and fasten the bulkhead too. Get that done, then we can start running air line. Okay, now for the fun part.
Running the lines.
Trying to figure out how I want to do them. If I want to get one clean.
I think simple and clean, because it already looks simple and clean.
I want to put a little extra on it.
Do a big lightning bolt with the air lines.
There you go, lightning bolt. Man, you done stole the show. There we go. It's always good to start with a straight piece of line. All I gotta do is make everything nice and even, symmetrical. So then this run 45. So I'm looking at this, trying to run the lines. I want to make sure this is parallel. This is straight up and down. With this is going to be parallel with these bars on the tank. You know, I want it to look clean. I don't want it to look sloppy. And if there's anything wrong with it, you'll definitely notice it. So it's always trying to do the best job. You know, quality counts.
You gotta go up and over like a Mustang.
Instead. Last line's in. Everything looks good. It's nice and symmetrical. So now we can go ahead and move on to the air struts.
Jamie's installing the air system on the 2022 Ford Lightning. You know, our next challenge is wiring it all up.
Everything's done. Lines to my air struts. First thing is go ahead and mount my air line. Get everything plumbed and ran. Once I do that, I'll go ahead and jump to the back. So basically all I'm doing is transferring the air from the compressors in the tank through my bulkheads right here and right on top of my air strut. My first run's gonna be a 90 out of the bulkhead, straight across to the pullover. So it's just getting the measurements from 90 out to over to 90 in, getting those proper to make everything look like it should. Check for burrs. You get any kind of burr on this end, that's why we're so careful when we do it here. That's to sand these ends, make sure no burrs get in the fittings. If you got a little burr, it'll tear the O-ring in the fitting, you'll have a leak. You'll be chasing it down. There's a bunch of different ways to run lines. You know, you can do DOT, you can do copper, aluminum. So many bends I'm gonna make with this, I wanna make it easy to bend, so I'm gonna go ahead and run aluminum instead of just running like flexible line and zip tying it everywhere. We're gonna run it the right way, hard line it, fasten it. It's not gonna leak. Okay, so that about does it. Got the rear done, got the front done, all the lines are ran. Everything's run right to the bulkheads, to the front, to all our compressors, to our manifold, to our tank, to the last stickman. So I already had the line ran through the firewall, so I just need to pull that through, route it. Once I route it, I can plug it in, heat shrink it, then start our air management. Now we're gonna have a controller set up. This will do each corner individually if you want, or all together. It's a real easy system to learn. So when this guy gets to where he's going, he can either be up, down, or in between. And that's it.
Part of waking up this brand new Ford Lightning is changing up that exterior. You know, the customer wants to change the look a little bit and also advertise his business.
Bill gave us a shout. He had a customer that came in with a wrap vehicle. Had a partial wrap on it with some reflective graphics. He came to us, so we came up with a great concept to fully wrap the truck with a color flip shift gloss white called Gloss White Fireworks. Then we're gonna have some 3D underlays and then reflective overlays, so at night, so it lights. Photographs, pictures, any light source will really make it light up. And then we're gonna have some black gloss accents as well, so we'll have 3-layer wrap that we're doing. So what we're gonna do now is peel off the reflective. The thing about reflective, the film comes off real easy, but all reflective removal leaves a ton of glue. Citrus-based adhesive remover. It works super fast. It's citrus-based. It can't hurt paint. Spray it on, you wait 30 seconds, you take a little plastic razor blade, and it'll scrape all the goop off. Wrap is only gonna look as good as the surface is going on. So your surface prep, your edges, your interior trim, all of this just needs to be super clean. So when you're doing your install, your edges will hold, you won't have any failure or lift. Don't ever use a metal razor blade on your paint, period. I don't care who you are, and some guys will argue with me on this. Oh, if you're good at it, well, generally civilians aren't good at it. So we do this for a living, and I won't put a razor blade on a paint. This is the base coat of what the car is going to go. This is called White Fireworks. So it's a flip-flop chameleon white sparkle. High gloss, high luster. Whenever you're measuring panels that you're going to do accent panels on or whatever wrap, make sure you have a bit of extra. So you always want to leave a few inches extra so you can't fall short. It's like a haircut. You can't put it back. And I love this color. It's so cool. I can't wait to see it in the bright sunlight. So what we're doing now is the customer opted to have smoked taillights. So when it's on, the light still shines through it. To do it correctly, we remove the taillight so we can get our edges and everything tucked and wrapped around. And that way you don't see any extra red light filtering. But we take the taillights and headlights out in order to do so. And then the last thing that has to fit is this. It's all in the details, so it's a little fine extras that really make the wrap special and solely his. So it's a one-off that nobody else has done.
We're building an independent front suspension on the 52 tow truck. With the frame done and the engine mounted, Ryan's getting going on those lower control arms.
Really good looking wheel. I like the way it's gonna look, especially with our center cap on there. So we put our lower ball joint on the spindle and connect the ball joint to our bushing over here. And we'll just use some half right now and get a little mock-up. And then we'll transfer that to the table and build the actual control arm. That look good. I like doing it this way because I'm more of like a visual person. So this way I can not have to run off 400 measurements. I can actually put it right here and actually test it. That'll be my ride height right there. And I know 100% whatever I do right here, it's just gonna match and everything's gonna be the same on the other side. It's the best way to get it done. Right now, all I'm doing is just making a jig for my controller that I'm gonna build. Cut a couple tabs. tack these tabs to the table. See, this is the exact angle that I need for my ball joint, and this is the length that I need from center of ball joint to my mounting point on my cross member. So I can make something that has that same angle. We don't need this anymore. We got our new ball joint cup, and I can build my control arm however I want it. That's how you make a one-off jig. Damn, that fits really good on both sides. I haven't made nice control arms like this in a while. That should fit perfect. And that, folks, is one control arm.
Jesse burned out our plates for our lower control arms on our 52 record. Once Ryan gets it all welded up and attaches the airbags,
They're good?
this truck could be able to ride really low.
Alright, we got our plate in. With it being laid out, you can see the control arm is super straight right here. With it straight like that, the bag is going to want to pull and it's going to get in a bind. It's not going to allow us to get the lift that we need to be able to turn it. So I'm going to take this cup right here, and that will give us that little bit extra. And it'll look good too. We'll take this to the table and weld this out. Then find the center on the control arm, drill my hole all the way straight through, weld it up, we're good to go. Alright, so now that we got our upper bag bracket where we need it, we can continue on with making our gussets. It would look pretty cool if this was all one piece, so I'll make a little cardboard sketch. So this gusset will give strength to our upper bag mount, and then also a little bit of style to the front end of this thing. Yeah, I wanted to change it up a little bit, just on two of them, on the front two.
Just had to make it like one whole piece.
Yeah.
So I made this beautiful upper control arm brackets for Ryan, but now he wants some custom. Making it one piece will definitely make it look a whole lot better. Since I already have these laid out on the computer, I'm gonna just add this on, combine it together. Two pieces have become one, so now I'm gonna walk these over to Ryan.
It's perfect. Appreciate it. In with the new. You see how it complements the work that's all been done up here. Instead of two pieces welded together, just take an extra 10 minutes. It looks way better. It's gonna be a lot stronger. And this was a great idea because those are the only kind I have. Alright, so my shot can only go that far right there. So the last step of the suspension here in the front is installing the shock. And make sure it's compressed. There. Looks good to me, I love it.
With the suspension and the framework all done on the record, the foundation is set. Now the fabrication can really fly. And making the bed, the boom, the sling, the interior, and getting that LT4 just right.
That is perfect.
This is one of those builds that nobody's ever gonna forget.
It's 12 inches of lift. It's a lot.
Because we're making new rocker fillers underneath the 2022 Ford Lightning, we need to start forming that brand new 18 gauge sheet metal.
After doing all this and the air ride and getting it real low, taking the running boards off, you have all this stuff just hanging down and it doesn't look good. So Bill's come up with this little template for a rocker that he wants designed. We'll take this to the table, throw some marks on some sheet metal, then we'll bend 4 of them, and then we'll cut them wherever we need to cut them. So now that we have everything laid out and cut, we can run over to our brake. Alright, our template here, at every point that has a bend, we have a mark on this sheet metal, so we can transfer what we have here onto our bigger piece. We got this one done. Let's go check it out on the truck and see what it looks like. See if we need to make any changes or anything.
Way too long. I'm gonna hit that.
Now that I know the bends are where we need it, I'm gonna make 3 more that are exactly like this, and then we'll start trimming and cutting and doing everything that we need to do to make them fit on the truck perfect. that together first.
Hey, you gotta pull it out further. Not in the stud.
Just one nut in the front one. All right, so now I got it tagged together, and you can see exactly what it's gonna look like on the truck. I'm gonna cap the end here, and I'll use it to screw into the plastic. All right, so we got it up there. The last step now is to make some brackets to the frame so it doesn't sit there and do that when you're going down the road. We're completely done with the driver's side now. Looks really good. I like it. Proud of it. We'll get that knocked out, move to the other side, duplicate everything that we do over here on this side, send it to the body guys. They'll do what they gotta do, and then we'll get the wrap guys to wrap it.
We've known Bill for a long time, and we've built several vehicles with him. The buggy.
Yeah. I'm building this, full tube chassis rocket. You're gonna let me drive it, right?
37 International.
This thing fire up today, no problem. Turbo's finished, fuel lines are ran. All that's left now is just make it look pretty. The COE.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Do what you do, Glenn. Let's get this thing running. Let's get her done. All right, man. Appreciate it. Man, this thing sounds awesome, dude. Good job. Some good, fun builds.
Yeah, he's always pushing the envelope.
And almost something it will get it.
And which pushes us too, It's really cool that, I have my family, my sons that work with me, and he feeds off of us on some things and we feed off of him.
Just build some killer rides and hopefully make a lot of people happy.
Yes. Like if we're struggling, he'll step in and vice versa. And that's what family does. We help each other.
Sometimes you think, the wrap might save some time, but doing it right to make sure it's going to stay on, it takes some time. So Patrick's going to prime the rockers on that 22 Ford Lightning before we can wrap them.
We're going to spray like 2 coats on and give it about 30 minutes to dry. Get them over the bill. All right, here we go. All right, we got it completely covered. Give it 30, 45 minutes to dry. On to the next step.
The vast majority of work we do are custom builds. We go where the customer wants us to go. So when a customer brings in that first 2022 Ford Lightning, of course we're going to get after it. And if this is the new direction, we're going to be ready for it. I can't wait to give this one back. Man, old truck's looking good.
Man, it definitely is. It's a head turn now.
We definitely learned some things on this one, but that's going to come in handy. Our first electric, and it definitely ain't going to be our last.
No, man, this is the future right here.
Uh-oh. So, Tommy?
Yep.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Tommy?
What do y'all got there?
You already working on one of these?
Yeah.
Wow, I love these things, man. That
awesome.
looks awesome.
Very.
I'm telling you.
Hey, there ain't no diesel in this one.
Yeah, but they make torque like us, and, we love that.
Oh, yeah, we love moving mass.
Yes, we do.
Customer came in with it not too long ago, and he had his logos on it, but he wanted something really to wake it up.
Yeah.
When he's driving around, he wants people to look at it, pay attention, and, advertise his business.
It definitely caught my eye when I pulled up.
Oh, he wanted a cool truck, too, so it kind of works both ways. You have a cool truck, and you get to ride it off, I guess.
Exactly.
One of the first things we had to do is change that lettering that was on there. The customer got with Wrap Stars. They come up with this design, and they just came over and installed it here.
Oh, wow.
The wrap's like this silver, reflective, beautiful color.
Did you notice, like, when the light hits it, it changes?
Yeah.
It's like illuminates, so it really pops.
One of the other things we did, look on the bottom of the doors right there, it had a retractable step underneath there, and we lowered it, so you definitely don't need the power steps anymore. But once we took all that off, there was a big void. It didn't look right. We filled the void with that little rocker filler there.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's super clean.
When I was taking these steps off, it was completely alien to me underneath this truck. It was odd.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not normal F-150 under there.
But what you did, it fits it like it's a factory piece.
Yeah.
It does. It looks awesome.
If you like that, well, you know what we're known for, right?
I do. And so what did you do to it? Wow,
What?
man, that is cool.
You bagged this thing?
That is
Uh-uh.
Well, he wanted it lowered, so
You just went all the way?
might as well, right?
Yes.
As far as I know, this is the first bagged Lightning ever.
Yeah.
I've never seen one. That's cool.
No.
We did air struts on this one.
Oh,
We did
yeah?
air struts on the front and the rear.
Also, it rides good, too, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of odd putting the compressor in the tanks where always we see the motor in here.
Dad, it must be crazy for you, from steam engine to coal to everything, you know. I bet it's a brave
I'm
world.
old, but I ain't that old.
It's got those bi-air compressors, man. They pump up 200 PSI super quick to the 7-gallon tank. So you just push a button and
That's
it goes
awesome.
right up to ride height.
So how low will it go?
Check it out.
All right.
Oh,
That's awesome, bro.
yeah, I'd say you got it pretty dang low for him.
It's really cool to be leading the way. A new electric Ford Lightning. Never been on the ground like this. Got big 24s on it. It just looks perfect proportion to the truck
It
itself.
does. The wheels and tires just fit the wheel openings and the truck perfectly. Y'all
Yeah, man.
just did an awesome job.
The team came together. Once again, thank you to every guy in the shop, sweeping, welding, grinding. Couldn't do it without you.
That's the coolest business card you can get right there.
Heck yeah.
That's sweet.
What y'all up to today? What y'all need?
Man, you
We're going to give it some style that you can't buy out of a catalog. That's the Karate Kid. Karate Kid bumper. I love the Ranger. We're going to do some stuff to this that nobody's ever even seen. Build a custom camper for the back of this.
okay.
You got to make something for all sizes and shapes, but when it comes to building something that's custom, you make it fit to you. Perfect.
Oh my God! Badass! Oh my God!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Oh, man, you taking this thing out for the weekend?
It's time to go have some fun.
Oh, yeah.
I bought a Polaris Ranger not too long ago, and the idea is for everybody to be able to use it, have fun with it, but riding around stock just isn't cutting it. Going out to the off-road park and just seeing all the crazy side-by-sides out there, it's just like custom cars around here. It's a whole nother world. Man, you take this out there, I mean, you have fun, but you're like, damn, look at that cool, look at that cool, and you feel so insignificant. We can't have that, man.
Yeah.
It's going to represent extensive out somewhere. We can't have it stock.
I knew this was coming.
There's a lot of stuff I want to do to this. Course lifted, course big wheels and tires, control arms, bumpers, front and back. The aftermarket accessories for this is pretty much unlimited. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't have to make.
Not going to be hard to find the parts for this.
No, but we're going to do some stuff to this that nobody has, nobody sells, and nobody's ever even seen. If we're going to do something to it, we're going to come with it. I love the Ranger, but it just looks too squished and tall. So one of the first things we're going to do is chop the top. Give it the roof line that smooth, cleaner look. Lay the windshield back a little bit and drop it down. But I want that roof line to continue, so I'm thinking build a custom camper for the...
Okay.
And I want to fill it full of subs.
That'll get the attention.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen a UTV with a camper on it. So I'm thinking back to my old days when I used to have a little S10 with the snug top on it. Thinking that was pretty cool. So I'm going to build one. Not only that, something I've never, ever even seen or heard on a side-by-side. I want to dance in bed. Like old school mini truck dance in bed on a side-by-side.
See, now we're going back to my California roots right here.
You know, way back in history, back in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, the rave was in the mini truck scene was having a dancing bed. And if you don't know what that is, it is the bed of a truck that's been cut out and modified where actually hydraulics actuate the bed back and forth. And it looks like the bed is actually dancing on the back of the truck. This is going to be crazy. Crazy. If we're going to do it, let's do it.
You know, there was a bet to see how long it was going to take before this thing got taken to the next level. It didn't take long, so I'm going to go tell the wife I won some money now.
Just the past decade or so, crazy. People spend more money on their side-by-side than they do their car. Everything that you can buy online, you're going to see out there. It's nothing to see a side-by-side with $100,000 in it. You know, it's unbelievable. Anytime you build something that looks cool, it's always good for business. We've been setting the trend for years with automotive scene, and with the bar set really high, everybody already thinks, oh, I've been there, done that, seen that. Well, we're going to prove that they haven't. We're going to show them something that's really, really cool and make people think, dang, I need that. And they know where to come when they see it.
All right, tell me it's time. It doesn't fit in the parking lot. It's too stock.
Man, riding around on a bone stock vehicle just isn't cool.
That ain't you, man.
No. I want to build something that just everybody else is like, damn, did you see that? And just be talking about it from now on. That's what I want to turn this into. We're about to have a whole bunch of parts come in for this suspension. And we're going to, of course, paint it. This only color I could get is just white, but it don't matter. This is something we just gotta do it. One of the first things we're going to do is drop the roof line down. 4 inches is about borderline how much we can get away with. So I want you to take out the seats, seat belts, and the mesh doors. Take all that off so we can start chopping this. We can cut this off here and here. We'll make something a little cooler for that. Get the doors on it. Leveling it all up is going to take a minute. I'm going to take the bed off, tilt it up to get it out of the way. Then we can start cutting. We got everything lined up, all level. Everything's straight. We got a good foundation. We know when we take this off, it's not going anywhere. Let's pull these off. Okay. Take these over back to the table. Okay. Clean off all the weld. Then we can slip those pieces right back down in the tube.
Nice. It's loose.
Got it.
All right, go ahead and cut out the back now, huh? Come on. All right.
Probably get it pretty good and then just split it.
Yeah, peel it off.
Yeah.
So me and Bill cut this off, and this right here slides into this tube. What I'm doing is cutting the weld off, and then I'm gonna split it. Then I can work the metal back and forth, and the weld will break. Nice. So we'll have this bung right here to be able to put right back on and re-weld it once we clean the weld off of it. Now for the front part, the windshield. Once we bring it down 4 inches, it's going to change the pitch slightly. You can't just drop it down because this will be over where it needs to be. So that's why I'm cutting it in 2 places. That's our 3 pieces.
Ready?
Yeah,
Yours
1,
in?
2, 3.
Put this top piece in, and then we'll make that fit.
do one side of town.
I think that's way better. Way better already. A lot better proportions. Cut a little bit of that out. Yeah. Bit of welding. I think we're ready, man. I'm really happy with how the roof looks. You get back and look at it, it looks like it's factory. It should have been that way. You know, it looked really tall, really out of proportion before, which I understand.
Riding the line on that side.
You got to make something for all sizes and shapes for whoever's behind the wheel, but when it comes to building something that's custom, you make it fit to you. Perfect. It's our first custom part for the side. Hell yeah. There's two best parts of any build. One being the end, when it's all put together. And the other part, the beginning, you know, when you're turning that thought that's in your head down into metal. And this time, that's that camper shell for the 2023 Polaris. Now that the roof line's all established, we can start on the camper. We got chipboard up front here, so I know how we're gonna attach it to the front of the bed. I ordered a window online. I ordered it pretty much to the tailgate, so the opening lines up with the tailgate itself. Just kind of want to get back, look, see where the angle of the window needs to be in relation to everything else.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
And then we'll see how high the back of it needs to be. I have the front of the camper laid out with a cutout in the front of it, so when the bed lifts up, you can see all the speakers pointing at you. What up, man?
What up?
You know we're building that camper for the back of the side-by-side, so we got to have a place to put all those subs in the back, right? Here's the measurements I took, and this is the radius I want for the top. I want to build it all out of 1/8" aluminum, and I'll bring the window over here for it. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think everybody's been waiting for this, man.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time with it, man. We're all take it out and just go crazy with it.
Yeah, can't wait, man. So now I'm just drawing out the camper bed for the side-by-side, which is going to have a bunch of speakers, and there's going to be dancing. The side-by-side's been here for a while, you know, we go to the park, we take it out, but it's been stocked, and when you go out there, you'll see a bunch of 4-wheelers, all lifted, customized. I think it's going to be fun now that we're going to customize the side-by-side, and it's going to represent, you know, the shop itself. Usually when we do a build, it's for a customer, and it goes home with the customer, so you don't ever get to see it again. With the side-by-side, we'll be able to show it off, and we'll be able to use it ourselves at the mud park.
Cool.
Nice.
Jesse, as always, did a great job burning it out. It's exactly what I wanted. So the next step on this is I'm going to bend a 90 over and then a 90 down. So the front of this has a lip to sit on the front and fasten it to the bed itself. When it's up dancing around, it ain't going anywhere. Looking real good.
I like it already. And taking this thing out to the mud park, you know, I'm really looking forward to that. You see a lot of different things there, but you ain't gonna see this. Like it? Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
What's up, Greg?
How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning.
Yeah. You know, I've known Greg for a while. He's our steel guy. So anytime I need any kind of steel, that's who I call. Man, the old Jeep's looking real good, man. I love the stance of it, man. Little 40s on it, too.
Yeah. I put the 40s on it, chrome moly axles, re-gear, upper and lower control arms, pretty much everything I can do that I can bolt onto it, I've done. You know, I like Jeeps and the Gladiator, the truck. I love it, man. I've always been a truck guy. I need a truck bed. I actually use my truck, and I'm hauling stuff and projects, and you know, I'm going to mud parks every weekend. I love the look of the Gladiator.
You take it off-road too.
I do. I'm in the mud parks on weekends selling steel, and you know, these ATV guys are building a side-by-side like you built your giant one. I'd love to see yours out there one day.
Yeah. So what are you doing in this area, man? I know we got plenty of steel from you.
Want to show you a little ding I got in the back there.
What'd you do?
Well, I got rear end bumper out of whack, and you know, the bed's a little jacked up, but I don't think it's not nothing you can't handle.
Well, let's check it out. Oh man. Yeah, you got it a little bit.
Just heartbreaking. Didn't have too many scratches or dings on it, and then all of a sudden here it is.
That's how it is, man.
Yeah.
You know, of course, as soon as you get your car looking right, you're feeling good, driving around, you know it's looking good, you crash right into it. Man, Greg, it is twisted up a little bit, huh? It looks like the whole bed's racked a little bit, too. I mean, the damage isn't that bad, but it looks like it's out of square.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bed's side wrinkled up. It'd be best to just go ahead and throw a new bed on it.
I like that.
You know, the good thing about getting rear-ended something like this is you don't have to go back with that factory plastic bumper. Since you're here, it's time to maybe get a little custom. Let's just upgrade a little bit. Let's go with a cool, sleek looking all metal bumper where it's going to give you a little bit more protection than that plastic.
I think that's a great idea. If I get rear-ended again, I'd rather have them bounce off and smash the truck in.
Exactly. I noticed you pulling in too that there's a 6-inch lift on here with the 40s. You know, it has the factory core link on it, but once you lift it that high, it scoots that wheel way far forward in the fender well.
I see it every time I look at it.
Yeah, for sure, man. We could build a new 4-link bars, scoot the wheel back, and center it back up in the fender well again. That'd be a huge improvement.
I like it.
I noticed that front bumper, too.
Looks like a big old mustache up there, doesn't it?
Let's go check it out. That looks mean coming at you, man.
You know, I put a steel one on the front. I bought a big, wide, heavy one, put it on there because I figured if there was going to be any impacts done, it'd be by me in the front.
Right.
I didn't think about the back.
There's a couple things we could do to it to make it a little cooler.
Yeah.
We could give you a little bit more clearance of the wheels. You know, when you're turning, climbing up and down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we can make it look a little cooler, give you a little bit more room, and make it custom at the same time.
I love your thinking, Bill. Them big old 40-inch tires need a little room.
Yeah, right? And then, you know, it looks like we could probably get this whole chunk of metal out of the way. Let's make your truck one of one, you know, just by modifying what's here. Make this bumper look even meaner.
I think it'd look pretty mean coming at you after that.
That would really set off the front of it. It looks real good, but we'll make it look even better.
I'm excited.
You know, you can't go anywhere on the road without seeing a Jeep. And there's a lot of people trying to set their Jeep apart from everyone else's with everything you can buy online. But when a Jeep like that comes into this property, we're going to get our hands on it and just give it some style that you can't buy out of a catalog. The Jeep Gladiator's had a lot of work done to it, but not really a lot of custom work done to it. So we're going to get our hands on it. We're going to get him hooked up, and we're going to put some custom touches on it, some extensive custom touches from front to back. And that way, when he's on the road, there won't be another one like it.
This dude, this is kind of rough.
I'm glad it's your job and not mine. Sir, what's up, bud?
Well, got a little problem right here.
Yeah, we see.
It's never good when a vehicle gets into an accident, but in this instance, it gives us the opportunity to wake the 22 Jeep Gladiator all the way up. Well, that's what he originally brought it in. Phil,
right.
This is his personal truck, so you got to get him hooked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it isn't just this little damage right here. If you really start to look at it, Pat, the whole bed side is wrinkled.
Yeah.
It wrinkles in the bed floor itself, so.
Gotcha. So we probably were talking about replacing the whole bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pull this off, let's find a new bed, spray it, and bolt it right back on. No body work.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. In case this ever happens again, we'll put a bumper on it that's a little more substantial than this plastic, right?
So he just came here to get that fixed. We're doing collision work now, or what?
Well, since it's here,
Yeah.
the thing looks great, man. It's got a good stance to it. The wheels and tires look good on it. You know, he's bought everything he could possibly buy on the internet and bolted it on.
Yeah, you got a bunch of add-ons on.
But, you know, we need to raise the front up a little bit more for him to get it a little more level, look a little better. It's a little lower in the front.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the lift that he has on there, you know, the arc of the factory 4-link has brought the wheelbase closer together. So the wheel's not centered in the fender well. So we're just going to make a new 4-link. Well, Pat, you get a couple guys from the body shop, go ahead and remove the bumper. Let's do it.
All right.
We're gonna put a more beefier bumper on it. First, we're gonna get the tailgate off, tail lights, everything dismantled. We're gonna start with the bumper. Basically, we're gonna get into it, see where it goes from there. I think we got everything detached, and I believe we're ready to get it off.
Rinky-dink links.
When the Jeep was lifted up to where it's at now, the axle moved forward. It followed that plane of the factory 4-link. It scooted the wheels all the way forward. So we're going to replace the factory 4-link with some longer ones that Ryan and Art are going to make.
Since the wheel is not centered in the wheel well of the bed, instead of remaking everything, all we're going to do is make 4 adjustable arms that can adjust out whatever we want it to be.
Definitely got to beef it up.
So now that we got the links off of the truck, got a little piece of scrap metal, kind of clean it up a little bit, get these tabs here, and this is going to be our jig for our links. That way we can put this here, bolt it up, just as if you're throwing it on the truck. And then we tack these here. Once we get those tagged in, we can bust this apart, and we'll just use the same exact tabs here on this side, and then we'll just add tabs here for this guy right here. That way we're not using 2 different pieces of metal, and it's all consolidated.
And voila, we now have a jig made for both sizes of the 4-links that we're about to make. Made to fit on each one. Just run a bolt through it and it's gonna slide in perfect.
So the left hand, having the double adjustment here with the left and the right hand heims. Oh, and we can get the rear end aligned with the center of the wheel well. So we got the measurements for the DOM, and we can get Arthur to cut that stuff. And we'll get it over here and get it tacked in.
All right, I just got done cutting the first piece for the 4-link that we're making on this Jeep. It is 1.5 inches in ID with a 1/4 inch thick wall. Just look at this thing. It's a lot thicker, super stronger. Take more of a beating than the part that's on there right now. Now that I got my new 4-links made, I'm gonna go clean them up and make them look nice and shiny.
So as you can see, got our heims in, got our DOM cut, it's all in place, it's tight, doesn't move, it's level with the 2x3 right here, so I'm gonna put some little small tacks on there. Alright, now I got all of them tacked, they're all fit together, everything looks good. We'll leave this one in the jig, we can weld it out, we'll weld all the rest of them, send them off, get them powder coated.
2022 Jeep Gladiator. Just wasn't looking right. It was a little bit lower in the front and higher in the back. So we're gonna make it level and put some pucks in and raise that front up just a little bit.
No, it's not gonna be too bad. What, bolt the shock, and do the sway bar, all that'll drop far enough.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about that one. It's probably gonna max out on the
drag link. Yeah.
Wow. So that's tight. So in order to get our spacers up in here, we need to take the shock out, this sway bar, and then it'll allow all this to drop a little bit further. So we're able to access this little pocket up in here. Check it up and see what happens, y'all. Alright, man. Feels like it just stuck right there. Like it wants to come up. No.
You want to put spring compressors on?
Yeah, there's some in that drawer right there. We're gonna get them. We've got it all busted apart and raised all the way up, spring compressors, and pull this springle down a little bit further. That way we're able to get it out of the pocket up here. Why are you so scared of that thing?
Because it's like a time bomb, like a ticking one.
Nah, man, this ain't going nowhere. It's what's in there. It's got so much pressure on it, there's no way. You can hit that with a hammer right now. It will not.
I'm gonna let you do that.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Rubber isolator?
Our rubber isolator is going to stay on the spring, like so. Then we got our 1-inch spacer here, and then our 1/2 inch, which makes 1.5 inches.
Boom.
We got 1 1/2 inch and a half put them together. It's science.
Yeah. All right. Right on, right on.
Right on.
Help me pull this bumper off real quick.
Originally, I thought we were just gonna customize the front bumper on the Jeep, but the more I look at it, it's too ugly to say.
Come on.
There's no flowing lines on it whatsoever, so bingo. I just want to scrap the old bumper, and I want to build something that looks a little more flowing also. We're gonna cut off the frame some and scoot it back far as we can. Weld a 1/4 inch plate all the way against the front of the frame, something that we can bolt the winch to, and to be able to bolt the bumper to as well. Now I can get some chipboard and kind of see what we got. Once that's established, we can bend some 1/8 inch plate. We can go from there. That'll work.
That's about it.
Now I just got to figure out how to make that look good. You know, I kind of got an idea how I want the bumper to look, but just kind of making a quick little template out of chipboard. Then when you get it just right, transfer it over to metal, and then you can build the puzzle. You know, we chopped the light down to give you a little more room here, but it just looks too empty, too open. So we're gonna get a little bit farther behind schedule and make it cool at the same time. I want to build the bumper all the way up to the bottom side of the light, but still give him a lot of ground clearance. Cut that all the way off the. And the only way to build something like this is to the vehicle. This way you can see what's up, what the next piece is. I mean, this is just the most efficient, easiest, best way to do something like this. Quick little spin. All right.
That's good. The top's pretty good, huh?
That's what we need, man. We'll get this part set, cut, tacked in, get it caught up on that side. Yeah, that's the Karate Kid.
Yeah, there you go.
Karate Kid bumper. When you have a gap that you're trying to fill in, you know, sometimes using a wire feed You hit the trigger and the wire goes past beyond the metal that you're working with. A cool little trick is putting copper behind it. You can weld that gap all the way up and just break the copper right off, and it keeps everything right where you want it to be. We got the size and shape for the camper all established on the 2023 Polaris Ranger. We got her front, we got her back, got the slope. So I got the measurements for the roof. Next step, we're gonna bend it. Pretty cool to get to see the roof about to go on here. I mean, it's definitely a critical stage to make everything nice and square and straight so we don't have a lot of problems later. We're gonna tech screw everything just so we know everything lines up nice and right. We definitely don't want to look like it's already been tipped over. We want to make sure it's all straight. You got to make sure everything is on point, everything's square, everything's lined up perfectly. I think the next thing we'll do is shape the corners here. Little compound curve right here. That little compound curve is probably going to be the hardest part of all of this. So what we're going to do is just I'll mark the bends out on this piece of chipboard. So now I'm going to transfer those measurements over to my metal by rounding the template. Good?
I'm right on the line.
Let me go a little bit more.
Actually pretty good.
It's looking real good. You know, this fits the radius of the cage itself, and that's what I wanted, a little slope down in the back to give it a little more style to it. So we got a nice perfect little seam here to weld because we need it super strong, man, because there's going to be a lot of base inside here. It's going to be shaking everything. So every little piece we put on, you just get a little more excited about getting across that finish line and making something really cool. We're getting really close, man. You can really start to see how everything's coming together on the 23 Polaris Ranger. Well, the next thing we're going to do is make the two side pieces. You know, one that caps the top rail here and goes all the way down to the side. One bends on the side here, so it keeps everything nice and straight. So when you're welding it, it's just not going to bow and buckle. It has that nice, clean, crisp edge on it. It makes everything super strong. The last piece for Jesse, so we'll go get that done. That's it, man. All right. Thank you. There's going to be a lot of vibration in here, not only going down a trail or through mud holes, but from all the subs that are going to be in there. There's going to be a ton of stereo. That and the side-to-side movement of the dancing beds. This is going to be put through the test for sure. So we want to make sure it's super strong and we're not going to have any problems down the future of anything cracking.
Jesse's working on our side piece right now. So I need to go ahead and start filling in this radius right here. It's a compound radius because I'm rolling this way and I'm rolling this way. So I have an arch and a radius going in. So I'm going to take my nice piece of sheet metal right here, put it in the roller, get it rolled. Once I do that, then I can start rolling this edge. Kind of feel it out, see what your metal's doing, how your metal's working, and just kind of adjust on the fly. You're not going to do it just a certain way. Every little bend, radius, and corner is always different, so there's many different techniques, and I've gone with the Flemish hammer. Well, the reason I do it this way is because it makes a lot of noise and irritates everybody in the shop. So after running the Flemish hammer, I'll dolly it out a little bit, cut it down to size. You got it now. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but in the end, you won't even know all the work that went on that one little corner.
You know, last little piece, Well, last big piece, it looks simple, just bend some sides and put in place, but there's a lot of room for error on that. So you got to check, double check, triple check to make sure it's 100%. So that's what I'm doing, just laying everything out, measuring, coming back, laying out, measuring, laying out. It should fit right in, and we're only doing this one time. Then the camper will be complete. We got a camper.
I see.
It's like perfectly even with the roof.
It's down too, so it looks like it's perfect.
It's way more work than I thought it was gonna be.
I know, right?
The custom camper is just one of the first parts of this build. From here, we're gonna go with the little old school mini truck flavor, like making a dancing bed. We put it upside down right there. We're gonna bring the right team in to do that. We're gonna add rear steer, bumper, paint, interior, stereo, speaker, lights, but as it sits right now, it's already really, really cool. I'm definitely getting excited. There won't be another one like it anywhere, much less the mud part.
Alright, so we're working on a Jeep Gladiator. The reason why we have this bed here is because the other one got wrecked, so instead of fixing the dents and all that, we thought, hey, might as well get a new bed. One big problem, this color is not the same as the vehicle. So what we have to do is change the color and color match it to the vehicle so it can all look perfect like if nothing ever happened. The reason I take off the fenders off of the bed is because you have this, and some people try to cut corners and maybe just leave the fender on and try to make sure that you get as much paint as the paint here, get paint there, and get it done right. I'm gonna sand it, get the green off, then we're gonna prep it, get it in the booth, and get the actual right color on it.
With the busy shop getting even busier, we got a lot of new faces. Patrick came all the way from Mississippi, and I'm glad we got him as a new painter.
Edgar's done prepping the bed, so now the next step is to seal it. That's actually to turn the green bed into a red bed. We go in, we mix our sealer, because without that it won't dry, it won't adhere. Second step is the base coat. We're gonna do a spray out to make sure the color is the same. Now after the spray out, we'll go and check it with the vehicle, make sure it's the proper color. Actually looks pretty proper. So what we're gonna do, get the bed sprayed, 3 or 4 coats of base, tack between coats, then we move on. It's crucial when you're mixing your clear coat because you want to mix it just right so it'll dry at the proper time. 3 or 4 coats of clear, same steps, tack between coats. We actually have a red bed that actually matches the Jeep. Well, I started painting model cars, bicycles back in the day. I actually started in my backyard. My father built a shop just so I could continue. Years later, I bought my own property, built my own shop. So basically started from the backyard, kept inspiring myself. That's my passion of painting. When you first see a vehicle, the color is the first thing you see. I take normal colors, make them a lot more intense. It's very exciting to me. I like taking a vehicle and giving it attitude. We get to take something new, tear it apart, make something better out of it. I actually get to bring them back to life. So it's like being a big kid again. This is actually something I would like to pass on to my kids. I have an 18-year-old son and a 4-year-old son, and I'm looking forward to those guys actually coming into this. Maybe they could be a whole lot better than I am, which is gonna be rough, but hopefully they can be better than I am.
The Jeep Gladiator was pretty beat up after getting in an accident, but that just gave us the opportunity to make it really cool and custom. You know, the aftermarket bumper that was on here, just isn't going to cut it. So we're going to go with a fabricated metal bumper that'll hold up a lot better.
It's going to really add to the look that, you know, he's going for. It's going to add to the beefiness of the rear to match the front. You know, we got everything going on up front, and just there was nothing back here, stock bumper. So this is really going to be a good look for him. A little less stock and more custom. Right up our alley. One more right there. We got it back down on the ground. It's on the wheels and tires. You can see the links have moved it back exactly where we wanted it, center of the bed here in the wheel well. Time to clean it up and we'll give Greg his truck back.
We're not typically a collision repair shop, but if fender buyers need some help, we're definitely going to help them out. And then some. What's happening, Greg?
All right.
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there, but waiting.
Definitely the perfect opportunity to bring him over to the custom world.
Me getting rear-ended in an accident.
We're about to see. You ready to check it out?
I am, man.
All right, Ryan, come on with it.
Oh, my God. Bill, you knocked it out of the park, buddy. Badass. Oh, my God. Dent's gone. Hey, I thought you were just going to scuff it up, throw a little paint on it, and stick it back on there.
No, man, come on.
Oh, my gosh. That is phenomenal.
Something, man?
How you doing, brother?
What'd you think?
Oh, hell of a job, man. I never in a million years thought it would come back to me like this.
Man, we had to get you hooked up. I mean, you always take care of us, whatever we need. So I want to return the favor. You got a little crashed up. I mean, the whole bed was actually racked. It would just taken way too long to repair it. We just got you another bed, color matched it, bolted it right on.
The bed came out beautiful, new lights on it, bumper on it, looks amazing.
It had a plastic bumper on it too, so you didn't have very much protection. You had to put something a little bit more substantial in case that ever happened again.
They're gonna bounce off that big boy.
Yeah, they are, man, for sure. Great looking truck, had a good stance, but once you lifted it, you know, with that short factory 4-link, the wheels moved a little more forward. So what we did is made a brand new 4-link and scooted the wheels back center of the fender well. It looks cool under there, and it definitely serves its
Made a
purpose.
style for me.
Oh, big DOM arms and the big Heims and all that stuff. Plus centering it looks great and handled great.
No problem. No
Phenomenal,
problem.
man. Phenomenal.
Man, we got one other thing for you too, man.
More?
Yeah.
A little something up front.
Let's see it.
Check it out.
Oh, wow, guys. It doesn't even look like the same truck anymore.
Well, good, because I definitely didn't like that front bumper.
nah.
Looked like it had a mustache, didn't it?
You wanted a little bit more ground clearance. You wanted a little bit more tire clearance. And we talked about chopping that bumper that you had on there. And man, after thinking about it, looking at it, it just wasn't going to look cool. So what we did is just took the old bumper off and pushed that winch as far back as we could in the frame, made new brackets, cut the frame off, gave you 6 more inches right there in the front. We just took a piece of 1/8 inch material and just started chopping it up. That's 25 pieces of metal right there, all welded and bent together to form that bumper.
The whole front of the truck looks like one piece now.
Yeah.
It just looks amazing.
You ain't going to find that on the internet.
I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the shop. They did an amazing job. I can't thank you guys enough. I can't wait to get the truck out in the mud park and go have some fun.
So you liking it?
I love it. I love it, man. Can you build a truck like... Did you jump my truck?
Gotta have that adjustability.
We're going to put rear steer on it.
Be really doing donuts. John's filling it with a ton of subs.
Now we'll see if it fits.
The 52 wrecker is my ground up build. The next step on it is building a bed from nothing.
Oh yeah, that's part of the whole build. We have all this open space to work with and unlimited options.
It'd take a lot of work, but we're gonna get it figured out.
Dang! Golly!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. You know, decided to make a
a roof for the side-by-side, because there wasn't anything there. So I'm definitely not going to buy a.
This custom roof is just one more step on the 23 Polaris Ranger. We got the top chopped 4 inches to get that roof line way down and to make it way more streamlined. I wanted a camper on it, but that's not something you can order, so we made it ourselves.
I'm going to have Jesse burn me out perimeter. I can weld in this seam all the way around. We'll actually sandwich some 3/8 plexiglass in between the 2 pieces of metal. With that same file that Jesse drew, I had John cut me out some 3/8 MDF that represents the thickness of the plexiglass. So I'm going to sandwich these two together, put it up in the roof of the side-by-side, clamp it all together, and I'll have my perfect fitment where the plexiglass is all going to be. So everything will be nice and straight, measured out, perfect distance. When I sandwich all this together, it's going to look really, really cool.
Once we get the roof done, we can start mocking up that suspension. And then we're going to move to that dancing bed. You know, it's an old mini truck thing where the bed moves back and forth all on hydraulics. You know, what build wouldn't be complete with lights and a whole lot of stereo systems? So
we got a nice little spot for our plexiglass to fit now. Yeah. Man, we got our bottom lip. It'll be 100% watertight. We won't have any drips when you go through and splash a big mud puddle. So it's real cool. It's going to look really, really clean, and it's going to be different. And not too many side-by-sides have 2 sunroofs. Making this thing stand out is not easy. There's so many of these Rangers out at the mud park. I mean, so we got to put everything we got on it. We're going to go ahead and put rear steer on it. Grab your side on the other side. So the rear steer is going to allow the rear tires to turn along with the front tires on a toggle switch. So if you wanted to cut a sharp circle, you just hit that rear steer, turn your wheels together, be really doing donuts.
My dad told me we're finally tearing this thing apart, so I had to come down and help out, you know. Maybe if I help out on the build, they'll let me take it out.
Start taking off the exhaust, take off the control arms, take off the spindle, take out the shafts. I mean, we're gonna pull this thing completely apart.
Oh, that's the best part.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got all our control arms right here. Look at the difference. Looks like we could snap this. This right here, this is solid. You could run this on our truck. The same thing with the rear. I mean, this is thin square tubing, and this thing can go through some hell. Get rid of these weak little links right here. One less thing to break on the trail. So we need to go ahead and find all our bushings, get our bushings pressed in. We got ball joints we gotta do. You got this, huh?
Yep.
Hey. Next, we're gonna go ahead and start putting them back on the Ranger. We still have to put an air strut in. We're taking the spring off the strut, and we're gonna replace it with this airbag. That's gonna give us that up and down air suspension movement. You can adjust this spring. All it's gonna do is compress. This right here, we can put air in it, make it expand, let it air out. So it's gonna give you a lower and a higher ride height. Cool. We're gonna go ahead and just put the portals in without the CV axles, because let's just snug them up. This is our hydraulic ram right here. And it's gonna push this rod out to the spindle, connect to the tie rod, and that's gonna turn your wheels left and right together in sequence. So it's a tie rod. This is basically gonna hold tension on the wheel. It's gonna bolt just like you see right here. We're gonna put a Heim right here, through bolts it, 2 misalignment spacers. Once you put that on there, that's gonna complete our steering right there.
This is a huge improvement from what we had before. We got new arms, we got new air struts, and we got this rear steer system. This is just gonna be insane. I can't wait to take this thing behind my dad's back when he ain't looking, take it out with my friends.
sprucing up the suspension, I'm gonna go with all black glossy paint on the Ranger.
Next, we want to take the heat gun and heat up all the stickers. Or if it's any stickers on it, we want to get all the stickers off, just like that. Painting metal, you usually clean it, sand it. Plastic, you scuff it to get the adhesion so you have something to adhere to. And from there, it's the same steps as painting metal. And we'll prep a piece of plastic. Alright, first what we have is the adhesion promoter. It actually helps the paint adhere to plastic. Step 2, sealing. It gives you a nice solid base to enhance the color. Alright, third step, the color. Same thing, just maybe 2 coats. Last time, 5-10 minutes. Then we'll move on to clear. You really want it to be thick. You really want it to be real deep. I mean, because that's what gives you that reflection. It gives you that pizzazz, as they say in black. If it takes an extra coat of clear, then that's what we do. If it's not shiny or glossy, then it's really, you didn't achieve your goal. And our main goal for this black is to make it like as glossy as possible. All right, a couple of hours to dry. We'll see you on the next trip.
Hey, what's up, Bill? Little project you want to do?
I do. I really appreciate you coming by. Shorty, I got much respect for you for many years. So I got this crazy idea that I want to do hydraulics on. In Houston, when it comes to lowriders and hydraulics, Shorty's the man. He's one of the only ones that I trust when it comes to making this dancing bed. I've always liked the old 90s mini truck dancing beds. I always wanted that.
Yeah, that's coming back. There's a lot of guys out there building little trucks all over again.
Yeah, man.
Well, what you got? Gonna do it on side-by-side.
On the side-by-side, yeah, man.
Something crazy here.
I've never seen that before. I think that would just be unbelievable.
Could be done.
Me and the guys, we use this to go off to the off-road park, and I was going to keep it stock, just so you don't have any problems with it, but I can't have that. Since I'm building this side-by-side, it's going to represent the company. I want something just unbelievable, something crazy that nobody's ever seen before. And that's what I need your help with, man. I know you are the king when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, I guess we can do a 4-stage on it. We can do a tilt back with the double Z-rack and then one tilt to the front. So that way it's really up there and you're going to be king of the park. It'll be good.
Man, that sounds really cool, man. That's what I'm looking for.
I get my sons out of here. All right, sir. We can get on it.
We're doing a dancing bed on side-by-side?
Yeah.
I never seen that before. It's crazy.
Bill's a little local también, so it's going to be a little challenge being the bed so small. It could be done, we're going to do it. First things first, we're going to build the subframe for it, the first rack, and go from there.
All right, let's make this dancing bed.
Shorty and his sons are getting after that hydraulic bed for that 23 Polaris Ranger. But before they can get going, like on any job, they need to start by prepping that existing frame.
All right, now that we got the bed off, we got the original frame, and we can take measurements with this. And I think the first step is going to be we want to move this mount further to the rear. That way it has a better swinging. That way it has a higher pitch on it.
Let's get this stretched out as far as it needs to be. That way we can make the first subframe. Go ahead and grab this. Let's get going.
We'll go ahead and cut this original hinge off to extend this frame out. Got that cut off. We can add on that 11.5 inches of 2.5 by 1.5 square tubing.
Okay, right now what I'm gonna cut is gonna be the frame extension. So this one's actually 1.5 inches by 2.5. It's gonna be a little bit taller, but we're gonna drop that part down, and it's a thicker wall, so it's gonna be able to handle the weight of all the racks and the bed and the camper and everything else. got the 2 extensions cut. I think they're a little bit taller than the factory frame, but that just gives it more strength. That ain't going nowhere.
To get that bed dancing around the way I want, they need to build 3 frames to stack together, so that'll give it the ability to front, back, and side to side.
Want to go ahead and square them out and go ahead and get them welded up. Well, I got these brackets squared out on the hinges. Tack weld them. There we go. We got 2 hinges made. Then it's the test time. Make sure it's squared out. We're gonna go ahead and tack weld them. There it goes.
Well, this is the first one. Everything looks good. Now after this, then we have the second stage, which is gonna flip to the right.
So right now we're determining placement of the hinges all the way to the edge.
Now put it on there.
So now that we found the placement of the hinges on the second stage, we're going to take it back to the welding table, ready to go.
So this is a lot stronger than what originally came on the vehicle.
Pretty much no matter where it's at, driving off-road, on-road, car shows, whatever, this thing can be dancing around and you ain't have no problems with it.
We get all the stages are in.
And we have a dancing bed.
Oh man, caught you working.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Got plenty to do?
I got too much to do right now.
Well, man, you got a little more to do.
That's all right. Bring it.
I really like how it's coming out, man. I mean, we got that frame underneath the cab. Man, super strong. We got all the cab mounts made, the cab's connected, all the suspensions made, super heavy suspension. It's super strong.
I know. I seen how it was all built, and the way that frame is just looks like a metal jungle gym. Just so beefy, and I know it's going to handle anything, especially that engine that's in there.
You know, that LT4 640 horsepower, it's going to leave 4 nice black marks behind it. That's what he wanted, a lot of power. That's what he's got.
When you get out of that parking lot and do the first test drive.
Yeah, just a test.
Yeah, we know what the test drive is.
So the next step on it is just building the bed itself, building it from nothing. You know, just getting back, clamping some flat bar together, getting all the proportions looking good. I mean, that's super critical on something like that. And then I want to incorporate, you know, a light bar built onto the bed. You know, something looks cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't want to go down to RPM and get a light bar for it. I want to build everything to make it kind of fit and flow all together. And for the last part, the coolest part is going to be building the whole record boom.
Have you ever built anything like that before?
No, never. Hey, but that's
the fun part. Yeah.
All right, man. Get to it.
All right.
We got our new frame underneath the old 52. We got our rear end in, got the 4-link and everything established, so that locates our wheelbase. It's going to be low to the ground, so I want to put the fender super low. And I want to use an older style fender on the outside of this record bed, so it looks kind of nostalgic, right? So the next step is getting the shape of the bed. We're going to set some flat bar up here and kind of eyeball the shape, just the overall height, the width. I need a little slope on the back, maybe like right here. Yeah. So we have some measurements to go by. I know it doesn't look like much right now. It just looks like a bunch of scrap metal in a pile, but you know, everything's established with these quick little pieces of flat bar, angle, tubing tacked into place. It gives us a great shape to start with. Yeah.
We're gonna make a template around the side of this cab with some chipboard. That way, this 2x2 that we set in here has this perfect shape to it to make all of this actually flow into the cab, make it look like it's supposed to be like that. So to get that shape that we're looking for that we made on our template, what I did was just rolled this 2x2, gave it a nice up, and then made a little relief cut in here The metal will naturally want to try and banana and curl, you know, so add a little bit more pressure and got it where I wanted it. Then I can just come in with a piece of 10 gauge and fill that in, weld it, grind it smooth, and you'll never know. See how that transition is smooth? It's perfect to the side of the cab. So we have that same gap all the way down the whole way. Put it up to the paint sticks, throw some tacks on there, get some weld, grind the weld off, and it looked like it was all one piece, rolled all the way out. Of course, this is made long right now. Wherever it'll tie in will get cut down. It'll be all done.
You know, the 52 Wrecker is for sure what I call a ground-up build. We built the custom frame, suspension, and making the entire bed from scratch. Once we're done, there will not be another one like it.
So now that Bill and I have the frame laid out on what we want the bed to look like, what structure we want it to take, I'm going to take these pieces of pipe that I have cut, I'll clamp it to this frame that we have made right here, connect the dots, and then once I have some sort of frame structure, I can get rid of all this stuff and we can stand back and look at what we got from that point forward. Might tear it apart, might keep it, we don't know yet. Just like we did here, we're going to do it in pipe now, so this lines up perfect with the back of the cab the whole length, and then it keeps shooting out, so we're going to have to just roll it right here on this corner. Pretty doggone good, though, I tell you. Tell you what. Doing one side of anything is always super simple. It's mirroring it that is the pain in the butt. I'm gonna try and make myself some type of jig like that we got going on over there, some type of framing to where I can kind of set this in and get it tacked in just like I did on that side. See if this is the right height. We're not so different, you and I. Now you can kind of see the direction that we're going. We got the shape now and everything's, you know, looking good. It's gonna look really cool. We'll keep on adding some pieces to the puzzle. All right, so we just finished up on our tubular frame here. Main reason why of it. So now that we got our base done, now we can start getting into the fun part and bending and rolling some sheet metal and really start seeing this thing transform and take shape. It's gonna be pretty cool.
We're adding hydraulic cylinders under the bed of the 23 Polaris Ranger. You know, once that's installed, it's going to lift and articulate, and that's what's going to be our dancing bed.
The tough part about this part of it is making sure that the cylinders, everything is in line. If you don't get everything aligned properly, you know, you're going to end up twisting your bed or it not going up properly, and it's going to look kind of cockeyed, so you want to make sure everything is straight.
On these cylinders, normally in a lowrider, you know, we'll probably push, you know, 5,000 to maybe 8,000 PSI into the cylinder. In a hopper, you can push anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000 PSIs into these cylinders. So with this little tilt, it's gonna handle no problem. We can run a 1.5 cross. That way you have your legs be able to attach this. 25 3/4. We got the material cut for stage place. Challenge-wise is making sure the cylinders mount on each stage is in the right spot. We got hydraulic hoses that are going to be mounted on the top sides of the cylinders. They can pull, cause failure, and then if a hose comes down, the whole bed's coming. So everything has to clear. If not, it'll be a disaster. Okay, so now we got all 4 stages, cylinders in place, tack welded. We're gonna give it a final test of all 4 stages.
It looks like pretty good. It's functional. Finish welding it and then start on the bed.
Looks like we got ourselves a bed dancer. Let's finish it up. You ready to pop some wheelies with this thing, huh? You're gonna install the hydraulic pump and the dump valve assembly. It's an 8-valve system, so it uses 4 valves to open and 4 valves to release the pressure. Basically, whenever you hit your switch, it's going to send a signal to this terminal on the solenoid. We have power coming in on one side, so it's going to open up. It's going to send power to this side of the relay, which is going to come to the motor. Motor spins, turns the gear inside, pushes the oil out through this hose. It's going to run to the valve, and then these valves are going to control which movement on which stage. So the first things first is going to mount the pump. So we already made our bracket. This is what the pump's going to mount up to, and we welded it straight to the frame of the truck. All right, so we got the pump mounted in. We're gonna go ahead and mount the manifold in place. We'll mount it on the first stage. So this manifold is gonna send the fluid to each individual stage. So they're labeled cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's gonna correspond to which stage. So this will be stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So whenever we run our hoses, we have to make sure our wire's made up to which dump is actually opening at the same time. Okay, so the manifold's in place. Next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and start running the hoses. What's up, Pooch? I don't need no kisses. So on the first stage, means it's 2 cylinders. We actually have a single hose that's gonna tee off. Means it's only a single port. That way it can control both cylinders off of one side of the manifold. Move on to stage 3. Stage 4. So right now it may look like there's a lot of extra hose in here, but once the stages start opening up, you have to leave room for the movement of the stages, because the cylinders are actually gonna move further away from the melt through the casing on the hose. Because these hoses here, if they sit there and rub, you end up putting a hole in it, pouring oil everywhere, you have a big old mess. Oh, I'm gonna run the hose from the pressure off the pump, so we can start running it up towards the valve assembly. We're gonna go ahead and do a little test, see how it flows. Hoses are all connected, they all fit properly. We're good to go, ready to mount the bed. Put some fluid in the pump, start dancing this bed.
Shorty and the Sons are doing an excellent job on that dancing bed for that 23 Ranger. You know, only thing left to do is tack it all up and give it a test.
Okay, the bed is on. Everything else is in place. We're going to tack a bracket from the bed to the top rack. That way the bed stays moving with this rack on top.
And brackets, but the tabs that we tacked onto the stage here are going to be drilled and tapped, and we'll be able to bolt them in. That way they're able to be removable. So from here, we're going to run the final wires, put oil on the pump, and test it out and see what we have. Right amount of oil. Next, we're going to connect our wires that are running to our valves in the back to our switch cord, and then we also have our switch power that's going to get connected, and the only other thing is our power from our battery to our solenoid, and we'll be ready to test. So now that these are wired in, this is going to be your first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, and then up is, raising, and down is dumping it. Moment of truth. Look at that. Yeah, we got a bed dancer. All right, mission complete. Man, I don't know if Bill knows what he got himself into.
Now it's time to take it back apart and get everything powder coated.
Oh, we gotta hide the switch box from the guys in the shop.
Even just having the frame built for that fit is going to make it look even cooler with a lot of fab work and a lot of sheet metal.
So now with the whole frame built, now we can start the sheet metal process. The best part of the whole build, get to design the whole look of it. So from here on out, it's just a bunch of bending and cutting and trimming and give this thing some character. Go ahead, jog it.
It's cool, each angle you put it on, it totally changes the look of this wrecker bed.
We didn't bend this a little bit, Mom. So it goes. You're creating the attitude of the truck. You're creating the photos that's going to be taken a couple months from now, a couple years from now. You're creating those cool little lines that people are going to talk about and get the buzz about. So it's kind of cool. Each time we put a piece of metal in place, you're creating a cool truck, and it's going to be the memorable truck. We got to do some trim. Yeah, I mean, we're going to work our asses off all day. Either way, we might as well get to create and make some cool stuff and really be extra rewarded when you get done with stuff like this. Good job, Ryan. What I'm trying to say is, man, you do an okay job.
That's pretty okay. That's pretty okay. Alright, so now that we got the shape of what we're going to go with, we're going to start with this first panel here. We'll get it buttoned up and tech screwed in, and then we'll get to the cool part, cutting it all out, putting the fenders on, and really seeing, exactly what this is going to look like. This is great being able to create stuff like this and just kind of going off a general idea and seeing what you're capable of doing. We've all been doing this for a long time, but there's always curveballs and there's always something new every single day, and there's always something new to learn. And this is just exciting to me, be able to use my brain a little bit. I'm just trying to get this seam lined up right here. So the transition from here to here is aligned all the way down, and there's not any wavy spots or anything. So keeping this straight is the only thing I got to worry about. Everything else will just fall in place after that. Run the straight edge all the way down, and when it meets, put a tag all the way down until you get all the way to the bottom. And we know right here is the top of our rooms all the way through. Might need to come back and tweak, so we'll just leave this few tacks on here for right now, just in case we got to pop it off. We're not grinding everything out, but it's looking good. Feel good about it. So move on down, and we'll go on the next piece. Alright, I got this last piece fit up real nice. Gonna check this in. Smucho Wayno there. Move around to the back. Oh yeah. One more. Get a fender on this thing, it'll look even cooler. You wanna see what a fender on? I already have some measurements of where the wheel is. I'll make some lines. Get the plasma over here, cut this out. There she goes. And then we can take our fender, mock it up, and get it where it needs to be. Now that the fender's on, you can actually start to take shape, and man, it looks super cool. It looks really nice, especially with this running board that we're going to build in here. I wish it was coming home with me. This thing's going to be pretty sweet.
It's a big project, so we're going to be bending and shaping a whole lot of metal on this 52 record bed. There's nothing quick or easy about it. Brian's got to make everything by hand.
Alright, so now that we got all the sheet metal work done with the outside of the bed, we're going to move inside now. Come up with this little template, if you will. Something that we kind of made up. We want to see if it will look good or not. So we know it fits this right here, but as you can see, the bed tapers and it slopes down. So I can just measure to the bottom of it. We got 8 3/8 and 6 3/4. I'll go bend me a piece real quick. We'll see what it looks like. So I'll take a piece of sheet metal and I'll break it and put this roll in it, put that bend in it. So that will give us the shape of what the inside of the bed will look like, and then we can go from this point out 19 inches. You're starting with one piece and trying to make, there's a lot of times you do this stuff And it might look right, but you might be off an 1/8 inch down at the bottom and you got to start over. So a lot of these pieces are just trial and error, even though, you know, we got a kind of certain direction that we want to go with. So, you know, bending all this stuff and, you know, standing back and looking at it, this is one of those times in the build that takes forever. But, you know, in the end, it's worth it. You know, put a little bit extra time and we're going to have 4,000 bends in the bed of this truck. So, you know, just doing this over and over and over and trying to stick with that one shape and that one look is, you know, really important at this point. So, you know, if it don't look right, start over. So now that we got this third piece in place right here, now you can see what one complete side of the bed will look like on the inner structure here. So we can continue on with the front. We're going to keep at it. Alright, so we got our driver's side fender well in, tacked up, leveled and everything. So we got this straight edge going across. We can start the fun part and start piecing the whole floor together, doing the sheet metal work and getting rid of seeing the frame, and you can actually see the whole bed here in a minute. So we'll get this tacked in. Alright, so we got both of our fenders in. They're both square, level, true to the bed and everything. So now we can start with our sheet metal floor and seeing what design we want to go with. We have all this open space to work with and, you know, unlimited options. We'll figure out what we want to do and keep on rolling.
This record build's been one of the biggest we've had over the last few years. But other than the cab, we've had to build everything by hand. Just like the bed, we've made really good progress, but we can't finish it until that boom's made. But that's something we've never done before, like pretty much everything else on this job. It'd take a lot of work, but we're gonna get it figured out. And then we can finally look to getting this truck back on the road. You know, I had a mini truck way back in the 90s. I want to bring some of that style into the brand new Ranger. You know, what better throwback than a dancing bed, a custom camper, and of course, a big stereo system. And right now, John's out there filling it with a ton of subs.
Every woofer has specifications that you have to follow to get the optimal sound and get everything to work right.
And I've got some great measurements inside here. That'll make it easy to get the airspace I need. It's this is the problem. This.
So for this box, we're going to be using expanded PVC. We're doing a full marine system inside of this side-by-side. That way, you don't have to worry about any of the elements. Off to the races. Let me know when you're done. You really want to go with something that's good and structurally sound. You know, this thing being 12, 14 feet in the air, plus with Bill on the controls, because he's never easy on things. So we got to be able to make sure that it can withstand all of that, then some, because I guarantee you, if it can break, Bill will find a way to break it every time. What I'm going to do is just rough fit this thing together to see if I can get it in that opening. If not, then we can take it apart, cut it in half, do whatever we need to do, piece it back together, get it back in the camper shell.
Why are you fighting with me, man? Why are you fighting with me? I'm trying to do you good.
Perfect. Now we'll see if it fits. Oh, come on, baby. We're so close. I don't give up. Really happy it fits. So the next step is I got to build the back half of the box that's going to create enough airspace that the subwoofers need. We'll put it in the box. We'll get it cut in, and that'll give us a window into the subwoofer's world. So I've already taken and I've drawn out the window that I want to mimic the headlights on the Ranger. Get it into my carving program for my router and save. I'm pretty thankful that I finally embraced the technology. It's really helped out to make things a lot easier to deal with. Back in the day, this would just been all hand done on the router, duplicating parts and pieces. Machine does it. We can make the pieces bigger. We can make them smaller. Man, this thing, it just spits it out over and over, and I can go do something else, which usually means I'm going to go sand something. It's just a win-win all the way around. You know, as I start to design this, I've got to make the inside of the box look good. We got to dress that up. Just really make a whole presentation out of what's going to be here. So work a little bit of that into this whole scenario and get it kind of built out. We'll start body working it and molding it all together.
make something cool.
Hydraulics been around for quite a long while now, early 40s or 50s actually. It all started with surplus aircraft equipment. There was hydraulic pumps off the aircraft. A lot of stuff was off the landing gear. Now, they're in that business, and the boys here, they grew up at the shop pretty much, and they're all pretty talented on what they do. Mark, he's one of the ones that runs the CNC now.
It's great, you get to wake up, do what you love, and it's kind of cliche, but that's my best friend, so.
Nick, he does a lot of the welding in the fabs.
It's easier, working with your brother than somebody else. We can depend on each other to get it done right.
I've been into low riding for ever, man, since I was 13, 14 years old. It's fun, If anybody ever gets a chance to ride in one, try it. Before you know it, man, Grandma and Grandpa will be riding in one of them cars too.
We got all the parts and pieces back from the powder coat for the 23 Polaris Ranger.
So Wally just brought all the powder coat back. Everything turned out great. So me and Art are going to put our arms in, bushings, ball joints. We get this thing together, get it out to the park.
It's no secret I'm partial to black and gold these days. It's definitely going to bring some attention at the mud park. Paint it all glossy to it. We put a lot of work into transforming this side-by-side into something that nobody's ever seen before. We're going to get it all together, and we're ready to hit that mud park. Man, I'm ready to go, man.
I'm ready to go. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's been quite a transformation. I can't wait for you to see it. Last time you seen it was doing the rear steer, right?
Yeah, it's still all put together. That's the first thing we were doing was tackling that. If I know my dad, this thing is going to be crazy. This thing is going to be sick.
There's definitely not another one like this around anywhere.
I didn't expect anything less.
Check it out. Here it comes.
Dang! Golly! How did I know it was going to be gold?
You already knew.
Good job, Daddy-O.
Keegan's seen a ton of cars in and out of the shop. Nothing really surprises him anymore. He's seen so many custom vehicles. But he was just blown away.
Man.
It don't look like the same one, huh?
Not at all.
What you think?
Man, it's awesome.
Very nice.
Good job. From what it looked like a few weeks ago to what it looks like now, it is a world of difference. It is insane.
Getting in the shop, one of the first things we did is cut the roof down. It just looked too tall, out of proportion for what it was.
I get what you mean.
And then Bill had the idea of just putting them sunroofs in there. That was just bonus right there.
You wouldn't know it had 4 inches cut off.
What do you think about those lights?
It turned nighttime into daytime.
This thing has more lights than most trucks around. Of course, it's got the long travel suspension with air on it. Gotta have that adjustability, right?
You have to.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Big 26x12s, and of course, it looks like they've been dipped in solid gold.
It's a theme at this point.
Right?
It's a theme at this point. And the gold wheels, you can see them come from a mile away, and it makes this whole thing just come together.
And of course, we gotta have the black and gold, right? And, not just black. We had to take all the body off, smooth out all the texture, and then spray it glossy black.
It looks so much better.
So these are ready to go to a car show.
Yeah.
Car show? I thought I was going to a mud park.
Well, you gotta look good doing that.
Yeah. And I can see the subs from back here. I'm sure those are crazy loud, too.
Right? My buddy here.
Come on with it. Cramming 412s in that thing was not an easy task, so if you're going to do it, go all out. We got 2,000 watts on the subs, another 1,600 on the doors.
I can't wait to hear it.
One thing we had to do is improve that interior. Smoothing out the dash, recovering the seats, and embroidering the logo in it. Been done before. Of course, we had to build that custom camper.
It looks like it came with it.
That's specifically made to that vehicle.
Dang.
And got a little throwback to the mini truck days, so check this out.
Let's do it.
This is what you come to work for.
Dang.
Just making cool projects.
Oh my gosh, man.
Making them come to life and seeing it all come together at the end. Days like this is what we're here for.
That is crazy. And talk about grabbing attention. My dad started hitting those switches and the bed started moving back and forth, up and down, left and right. I mean, this thing's gonna be the center of attention.
We've done some ridiculous things around here, but this tops it. You know, now it's time to load this side-by-side up on the record, go out to the off-road park and test it out. Man, it's real cool to have an idea in your head and having a bunch of tools laid out and using those tools, using your hands, have people come to help, all come together to make this project complete, real cool. And to be able to show Keegan something like this, that's a good dad day. I can't thank my guys enough. Shorty, man, that's a cool day to see everything come together. Man, I just can't thank everyone.